This is a unicorn. The ASM S-Special 70mm exhaust is almost the perfect exhaust. Amazing exhaust note, check. Zero drone, check. 14 horsepower and 13 pound-feet of torque, check. Passes sound at Laguna Seca on a 90 decibel day, check. The only problem? They were discontinued in 2010 because they were plagued with durability issues, specifically with the resonator. ASM spent most of their research and development effort into refining the exhaust sound, while material research was sidelined. Nowadays, you'd be hard-pressed to find this exhaust out in the wild, let alone one for sale. Ballade Sports recognized the legacy of the ASM S-Special and decided to make a replica of it, which they call their Type S exhaust. Will it live up to the reputation of the ASM S-Special, or will it be another Ballade Sports flop? Let's find out. Given that I am banned as a customer of Ballade Sports, I had somebody order this exhaust on my behalf back in April. At the time of ordering, the estimated shipping time of the exhaust was in June. The exhaust arrived 3 months late in September. Not ideal, but I'll give them a pass since the global supply chain is pretty messed up. The exhaust arrived in a large box that appeared to have been damaged in transit. There was one hole that was large enough that I could actually see and feel the exhaust inside. Once I opened the box, I found an exhaust that was simply poorly packaged. The exhaust itself was covered in an extremely thin bubble wrap. The muffler and resonator were covered with illegally repurposed USPS boxes, nice. And the exhaust hangers were covered with foam mittens that easily slipped off. As a result, the muffler had a pretty significant dent, and the slip-fit section was bent so much that I couldn't even assemble the exhaust. Packaging things well is not rocket science. This all could have been avoided if the exhaust was packaged with proper cushioning material and the box was filled tightly instead of letting the components bounce around. When we reached out to Ballade Sports, they blamed the shipping company for mishandling the box when clearly they were negligent. They offered to have me return the exhaust and refund my money, or have me keep the exhaust and refund me $200. I opted to keep the exhaust. I was able to fix the slip-fit section of the exhaust by using a pipe expander that I borrowed from AutoZone. It just took me a couple of hours of running around town that I wish I never had to do. When placed side by side with an authentic ASM exhaust, the Ballade Sports replica looks quite similar. The Ballade Sport exhaust has the same general shape, and all the dimensions of the Helmholtz, the resonator, and the muffler are within an inch of the real thing. Generally speaking, the ASM resonator and muffler seem to be higher quality than the replica, especially on the edges. Besides the fact that the Ballade Sports exhaust is a slip-fit design, the only other differences I could spot were the placement of the rear muffler hanger and the design of the exhaust tip. Overall, Ballade Sports did a great job replicating the design of the ASM exhaust, but how well did they replicate the sound? In order to figure this out, we swapped the Ballade Sports exhaust onto the same car that the ASM exhaust came off of and did a back-to-back comparison within the same hour. Overall, the exhaust note of the Ballade Sports exhaust is quite similar to the ASM exhaust, which is excellent. There's a bit of a difference, but that is to be expected considering the ASM exhaust is at least 10 years old and the resonator packing has already started to fall apart. On the inside of the car, the Ballade Sports exhaust is magical. There is zero drone, and I really mean that. You can stick the car in 6th gear at 60 miles per hour on the highway and floor it, and there is no loud bassy, booming drone noise. It blows my mind that the cabin noise can differ so much from the outside noise, but that is the resonator and the Helmholtz at work, something that many aftermarket exhaust manufacturers just omit from their exhausts. When it comes to installation and fitment, the Ballade Sports exhaust comes with the same issues as the authentic ASM exhaust. The most common fitment issue is with the 70mm piping and the rear lower tie bar. This issue is easily solved with the additional adjustable hanger that is included with the Ballade Sports exhaust, just like the ASM exhaust. The less common fitment issue is with the 70mm piping and the exhaust tunnel. Beginning with the 2006 USDM Honda S2000, the floor on the passenger side of the car was reshaped to accommodate weight sensors for the passenger seat. The change to the floor altered the shape of the exhaust tunnel and the clearance between the exhaust tunnel and the exhaust piping. As a result, 70mm exhausts that fit on 2000 to 2005 Honda S2000s generally don't fit on 2006 and up Honda S2000s unless they are specifically made for the USDM market. The ASM S-Special suffers from this issue, and unfortunately Ballade Sports either never did the research to understand this or never test fitted their exhaust on a 2006 and up Honda S2000. The exhaust is advertised as fitting all model years, but 2006 and up should come with an asterisk in my opinion. In short, the Ballade Sports exhaust lives up to the reputation of the ASM S-Special, both good and bad. It's almost perfect. If Ballade Sports does another run of these exhausts, and they should, I have some advice for them. The first thing is to improve the packaging of the exhaust. And then the second thing is to revise the exhaust to fit 2006 and up Honda S2000s without any modifications. If they can address these two things, this will be the perfect exhaust.